Law Talk with Nick Maruchak. Thanks to MKI Legal, your trusted employment and family lawyers.
I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Nick, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Bowie. I'm great.
That's the ticket. How is it hot out there?
It's lovely out there, yeah.
Is it? Are you sure? It was 41 at my house yesterday afternoon when we got home.
I went for a run at about just 7 o'clock and it was really good. So
was it?
Yeah, maybe it's warmed up now.
Yeah, all right. If you have a legal question today, please make contact with us and fire them through to Nick. Terry's on the line. G'day, Terry.
Yeah, g'day. Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, my question is, and I know I did it for my mother when she passed away, but my brother has made me and one of his sons the executor to his will. And he sort of says, just got to, once he dies, go to the bank with the death certificate and clear the funds or what he's got. But I think that we have to do probate. Is that right?
So has your brother passed away yet, Terry? Or
No, he hasn't. No, he just redid the will or made it up to date and gave it to me, but he didn't talk about probate. But I'm pretty certain that we have to do probate because he's the last surviving his wife and that. Is that correct?
No, so you only need to do probate if there's more than a limit of certain assets, right? So if he's got real estate in his sole name, you would need probate. If he's got more, say, a certain amount of money in the bank account, each bank has different amounts. It could be more than, if it's more than 50,000, you would need probate. If it's less than 50,000 or whatever limit the bank sets, then you don't need to. You can distribute the money without probate, and you can you just fill out a stat deck and fill out some forms. So it really depends what he has. Has he got a house?
Yes, he has got a house.
Yep. In his sole name?
I presume so. Yeah, yep. I could ask him that. Yeah,
because
wife passed away 10 years ago or more. So
okay, so you'll need probate for sure. And the thing with probate is, the Supreme Court of Western Australia does have this online form that you fill out, and it just produces the probate documents for you. So I would use that as a first step, and it's generally pretty good. And you lodge that, and you should be fine. But if you ever need legal assistance, then the executor's entitled to hire a lawyer and get reimbursed from the estate as well.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks for calling in. Well done, Nick. 20 and a half minutes to 11 o'clock. G'day, Bruce.
Yeah, g'day, gents. Thanks for taking my call. How are you?
Yeah. Well, mate, far away.
17th last week, I signed all the papers, paid my bond, etc., for my new rental. On the Friday, the 21st, I picked up the keys and went had a look at the house. Upon further inspection, I noticed that the entry doorway specifically doesn't. The security screen could be removed from the external of the house in 5 minutes with a screwdriver easily, and the door frame would be able to be pulled out by hand if the door was left open, and with a crowbar or a hammer could be pulled out easily within 15 minutes. It's been retrofitted really poorly. The deadlock doesn't work, and the only lock that works is the door handle lock. It is also not a solid core entry door. Now, on the Friday the 21st, I lodged my concerns with the real estate agent. On the Tuesday just gone, the most recent reply I had, after following up several times, the most recent reply I had was, we will talk to the owner about this. And to date, I still haven't had any correspondence or feedback about it. Also, they sent me my PCR report very late, and I sent it back yesterday. I've been asking for confirmation I've received it, and they're still not getting back to me. But my biggest concern is the entry door. My understanding is that according to Residential Tenancy Act 1984, that is not compliant. What rights do I have?
Yep, so you're right. So I'm just pulling up the Act in front of me now. Section 42 basically puts an obligation on the landlord to maintain the premises in a reasonable state of repair and condition, having regard to the character of or the age of the building. Sounds like that door issue falls short of that. You do have a right under 43, Section 43, to actually to make if you read that section, there's something called urgent repairs, right? So you normally, if the repairs qualify as urgent, you write to the landlord and you say, you have to repair this door. You have to give them a reasonable period of time, so 24, 48 hours, maybe a bit longer. And if they don't respond, you have the option potentially to repair the door yourself and then have the landlord reimburse you. So have a read of Section 43 and see if that you meet that test. The other thing you can do is potentially, if you don't want to shell out the funds, you can just apply to the magistrate's court and seek an order that the landlord carry out those repairs. So that's all the steps you can do. So what you probably should do first is write to them and draw their attention to Section 42, Section 43, and hopefully that does the job. Now, the other thing to bear in mind is if you exercise your rights under the Residential Tenancy Act, you actually have protection from retaliation. So if the landlord tries to kick you out or does something because you exercise these rights, they've actually broken the law, so that there are anti-retaliation provisions in there to stop landlords from doing something harmful to you, kicking you out, terminating the lease if you exercise your rights. So that's something to bear in mind.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your help.
Thanks, Bruce. Good on you, mate. Hi, Henry.
Hi, how you going?
Good.
I've just got a quick question. It's about a traffic infringement it occurred to me in Pisa in 2023 when I was over there. I hired a car with a GPS, went down the street, and apparently I didn't realise I was in the wrong residential street where you can't pass. After returning back from Europe in 24, 4 months after I returned home, I got an infringement notice from the Municipal Council of Pisa. And so I rang them up and I said, yes, okay, it was me, yes, I'll pay the fine. Here's my credit card. She says, I'm sorry, we don't accept a credit card. It has to be in person, it has to be in cash. Anyway, you've only had 20 days to pay it. It's been 4 months, so it's too late. You've now been passed on to a debt collector in Holland. So I rang up another friend who said, look, just throw it in the bin, don't worry about it. And now then I've got another a notice to pay on a postcard by a person or a company in Holland to pay $224. And I said, my other friend said, so ignored that one, so I ignored it. And now I've just got an e-collect notice for $711 for this traffic infringement. So I don't know if it's a scam or do you pay or what?
Well, yeah. So when it comes to these overseas debt collectors, they have to, for them to actually get money out of you, they actually have to file a claim in the magistrate's court, or if you have a judgment overseas, you have to go get this judgment registered here. So it's a pretty complicated process. So it's slightly risky, but if you do ignore it, it's unlikely that they'll take steps to sue you because, lodging a claim in the magistrate's court costs hundreds of dollars. If you're a corporation, it costs you more. So it doesn't seem like there's a huge incentive for them to do it. If they do take formal steps, formal court proceedings against you, then that's when you can kind of negotiate with them and say, look, I'll pay it. And as long as you make sure that the judgment is dismissed and there shouldn't be anything on your credit record. So your credit record's affected when court proceedings are started, but if you get advice or you do it properly, then that will be eliminated from the court record. So, if I was you, I'd probably just ignore it, and I think it's a bit of a threat, and it's probably unlikely nothing will happen. Bear in mind, if you go back to Italy, I don't know what happens there. But that comes with a small risk if they do decide to take action, but I just can't see them spending the money to do it.
My friend in Italy, he was in the Finanza, that's like the police force for finance, and he said, look, it's a scam, throw it in the bin. And yet every time I get a letter, it goes up by $200, by the collectors. And this debt collector is in Burke Street, Melbourne, and I'm thinking, well, do I pay it and do I get a receipt? Is it a scam?
Yeah, it's really hard to know, isn't it?
Yeah. So the debt collectors have to be registered. So if he's in Melbourne, you can I believe they're registered with ASIC or locally with the Consumer Protection in Melbourne. So you can actually see if they are registered and double check if they're being authentic. But the thing with debt collectors is sometimes they just write you scary letters and never do anything. So sometimes they go away, but if it's more significant debt, there's always a risk they could file proceedings. So
Well, it's becoming significant debt, isn't it? At least on paper.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you take it seriously when lawyers get involved, when you get a letter from a lawyer, then okay, someone's going to be filing it.
Henry, I don't know if that helped, but certainly Nick's advice is to stay put. But certainly check out the status of that debt collection company in Melbourne and in Burke Street. That's a good starting point. Hey, let us know how you go, mate. Really interesting.
Just the last thing is just that it's a trip for a lot of people. A lot of people are telling me the same thing, that they're in the same boat.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, mate. Well, Robin has an experience that's similar. We'll talk to him after the break. Thanks, Henry. We'll take pause, 12 and a half minutes to 11. Thanks for listening in. Nick Maruchak's with us from MKI Legal. Nick, you were listening this morning and you've looked into some of these road rules for us. What can you tell us about sitting in the right-hand lane?
Yeah, so I looked in a few of them. So basically, Regulation 113 basically says if you're travelling on a carriageway that has 2 or more marked lanes and the vehicles are travelling in the same direction and the speed limit is over 90 k's or there is a keep left unless overtaking sign. So if those conditions are met, the driver must not use the right lane unless turning right or making a U-turn, unless overtaking, avoiding an obstruction, or when traffic in the other lanes is congested.
Yep.
So that's the technical on the books.
Well, I reckon I'm okay there because you're always overtaking.
Yeah.
Right-hand lane.
Yeah.
Just continually overtaking.
And on the freeway congestion, so, I don't know how many people have been fined with that, and the fine's not very high. Anyway. Tailgating basically says a driver must maintain a safe distance that allows them to stop without collision in an emergency. So that's clearly against the law there. And then driving too slowly, I know a few people mentioned that. It just says on the freeway, a driver must not travel more than 20 kilometres below the speed limit. So except if there's congestion, it'll be unsafe.
Okay. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for looking into that for us. G'day, Robin.
Good morning, gentlemen. Look, that chap, I hope he's still listening. Similar experience, went to Europe, hired a car through Avis Rent a Car, drove it down to Italy. Unknown to me, I parked in the wrong spot, which was not allowed. And within 6 or 12 months, I got an invoice for €175 from the Polizia in Italia and how to pay it. I thought it was a scam. I disregarded it. A year later, got another renewal. A year later, another renewal. 5 years later, I got something from E-Collect in Burke Street, Melbourne.
Okay.
I rang them up. I checked them out. They are bona fide. They are definite debt collectors, and I got good advice from the case manager. So if you're listening, ring them up, speak to the case manager. They will waive the surcharge completely, and you'll be able to pay the money by bank draft from your bank directly to Italy for the original fine, and you'll get away with it.
Good on you, Robin. Yep. Very good advice, mate.
Yep, good advice.
Straightforward.
Negotiate. You can always negotiate, and they can always
go to E-Collect in Burke Street. Well done, Robin. That's cool. Hi, Peter.
Hey mate, how you going?
Very well.
Okay, so I've got a quick question. Not paying your council rate, is it a criminal offence?
So it's not a criminal offence, but there might be some consequences here. So just bear in mind that you could get penalty interest applied. They can also potentially sue you, and they also have the power under local government law, which I think, Bowie, you might know, you worked in there, to basically sell the house, take possession of your property and sell it if the rates are unpaid. I believe if it's overdue for 3 years, there's something in the Local Government Act. So that's the worst case.
I'm only doing this purely in retaliation.
Well, Peter, we talked about micronations yesterday, whether WA should secede from Australia, and there are farmers in New South Wales who've become a micronation for that very reason and for taxation reasons as well.
Yeah.
Good on you, Peter. Good.
Don't think it's going to work, but...
yeah. The spirit of Ned Kelly lives on. G'day, Keith.
G'day. You mentioned about having to drive certain speed on the freeway. What about the Albany Highway or the Southwest Highway? What's the... what's the problem?
Yeah, if it's two lanes, mate, and the speed limit is 90 k's or over, then you are meant to just use the outside lane as an overtaking lane.
Yeah, and I believe that 20 k's just applies to freeways, is my understanding. So
highways.
I think it's freeways. So Have a look at Regulation 12. So I'm just pulling it up.
Good question, Keith.
Yeah, Regulation 12 will say...
Give us a definition whether it's a highway as well, Keith. Stay there, Keith. We'll try and get...
Yeah, minimum speed on freeways. It says freeways in the Act. So.
Not highways.
Yeah.
Okay. Good question, Keith. Well done. Hello, Mo. G'day, Mo. You there?
Oh, yeah. Good morning, Simon and Nick.
Hey, mate.
Nick, I think I spoke to you some times ago regarding your firm become an executor for my will.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I don't know whether you remember.
Yes,
and,
the call. Yeah.
Yeah, and because I'm on my own, I want someone to look after my affair if something happened to me, because I've got no relation or whatever in Australia. So what are the charges? And the other thing also, can I make an appointment to see you? Is there any charge for that, or what your fees and all that? Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Mo. Look, main areas of practice we do is employment law and family law, so we don't do that work anymore, but I can get in touch with you. I'll get the details from the producer, and I can put you in touch with some good lawyers that do that work, and I can give you an estimate of various rates that they charge. And you have other options. Instead of having a lawyer, you could also use a trustee company as well. So I can just give you a call up there about that.
Thanks, Nick. Very nice gesture. Thanks, Mo. When I say we, the royal we, Nick and the producers will be in touch. Thanks, mate. Thanks for coming in today, mate. Well done.
Thank you, Bo.
Have a good day. Hope it's not too hot out there for you when you have a jog this arvo.
One jog a day is enough.
Yeah, it sure is. It is 3.5 minutes to 11. We'll come back in just a moment. Thanks for your thoughts, your contributions, your engagement today is coming up to 11 o'clock.